When gods walked the earth, it was the time of the Eternals. Who are these obscure gods coming to the MCU? We've ranked these immortals by powers so you can hit the theaters when the Marvel flick drops on November 5th with a little more knowledge. DRUIG is a more antagonistic Eternal, a shameless, power-hungry schemer. A constant disappointment to his father, he might be doomed to forever try and make up the difference. We don't know why the Eternals perpetually keep him around, seeing as how he's always staging coups within the organization.
Oh, how it pains me to do this!
He's like Starscream to Megatron in Transformers. We're like, yo, Megatron, use your cannon and blow this dude apart. He's gunning for you, boy. If he wasn't so focused on his need of being number one, he'd actually be much higher on the list, as that lust often leads to his downfall. A part of the 30-ton bench press club, DRUIG can fly and is telepathic. He can emit flames with a kind of pyrokinesis, and can transmute matter. Actor Barry Keoghan will bring DRUIG's potentially traitorous mug to the silver screen. GROM, aka the Overmind, is a conqueror turned hero. At the Eternals games in Fantastic Four number 115, he was declared Champion of Champions, a very respectable title. Overmind excels at the ability to scan others' minds, gaining valuable information. As Wall Street's Gordon Gekko says to his first protege,
"The most valuable commodity I know of is information."
Although after being incarcerated, Gordon changes his stance on that. More on that later. Like Master Yoda, he can use telekinetic ability in which he can also levitate objects within 50 feet of him, and can mentally control others without them realizing it as well.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
His use of psionic powers adds brawn to his brain, enabling him to lift over 75 tons. And like the new mayor of Quahog, Wild Wild West, he can occasionally levitate.
I told you I could levitate.
You did.
Eros, aka Starfox, is also infamous for being Thanos' brother. He's a different kind of mind manipulator in that he specializes in the pleasures of the flesh.
Do you know about that?
Eros can prod the pleasure centers of other sentient beings, giving them all-consuming, blinding lust for one another.
I just say what I want.
And what do you want?
Reminds us when Bruce Almighty gets the powers of God and uses it to light Grace's fire. Now that's power. The pleasure principle is a powerful one. It's sold millions of R&B records and is, in essence, the power to create life. If you can control people's uncontrollables, you've got them by the you-know-whats. Eros makes those he hypnotizes feel like they're on Bridgerton.
For you.
If you're thinking about naughty things, you're not thinking about war. And if your mind is not on the task at hand when you're warring, well, that's how you end up biting the dust. ARD-CON, aka ULTIMUS, is a Kree Eternal. Remember, the Kree are like Ronan the Accuser's people. This heavy hitter lifts a whopping 90 tons, and showcased his major league power when he smacked away Mjolnir and stunned Thor with a single punch in Thor 209. This big blue nasty boy's got some pretty impressive energy blasts he can cast from his hand, and can generate force fields around himself for added protection. And you can't read his dirty little thoughts, as his mind has some solid anti-telepathy spyware to protect his privacy. ZURAS, previously known as Jupiter and in some older cases as Zeus, is the former leader of the Earth Eternals. ZURAS is a powerful energy manipulator and is extremely head and body strong. He can fly a little faster than the speed of sound and can initiate the Unimind, the gift the Celestials gave the Eternals. The Unimind binds Eternals for a spell so they can think, feel, and act as one, turning them into the ultimate, undividable team. When the final host of the Dark Celestials arrived, ZURAS' powerful mind was pushed to the darkest of dark places. Still, in his time, ZURAS was an all-around powerhouse that did major damage on the battlefield in his era. Even though Betelak, aka Will Fanshawe, weighs a metric ton, he's light on his feet like a dancer and can move like a finely tuned athlete. He's been deeply involved in battles with dragons, as you probably surmised from his hat. Betelak the Interloper, like Batman's Scarecrow, can induce a crippling fear in his enemies. An enemy afraid is already defeated. Heavyweight boxer Mike Tyson knew that, and so did the Interloper. Gilgamesh, formerly the Forgotten One, is the most durable of the Eternals. The thing of the Eternals, if you will. Formerly shunned by all Eternals, the man stayed in a remote hut awaiting the call of duty. A true soldier. The original Gym Bro, Gilgamesh lifts 100 tons, making him the physically most powerful Eternal. This is a smasher you want on your side in any battle. Madog Suk is the actor who will be playing Gilgamesh on screen. We'll bet he pumped a lot of iron to prep for this role. SERSI is a former Avenger, an illusionist and sorceress who, like Jedis, can control weaker minds.
I must speak with Jabba.
If you're caught unawares, SERSI can make you see and believe things that aren't there. Her misdirective form of warfare is great for leading foes astray while the Eternals attack not from the front, but from the side, making sure they stay off balance. Starfox's cousin is a wonderful dancer who reads thoughts, so you'd better watch your mind when you're around SERSI. The greatest sorceress of ancient Greece can also regenerate lost body parts like Deadpool. Gemma Chan is the actress who will bring SERSI to the big screen. MAKKARI, formerly known as Hurricane and sometimes as Mercury, is a sleek and fast speedster who can also teleport. He knew he wanted to be the fastest immortal alive, and sacrificed strength for speed, as he can only lift a measly 40 tons. Sometimes being the opponent who's able to strike first can give you all the initial advantage you need to tip the battle in your favor. This immortal is also Elvis's guitar teacher? Okay. Lauren Ridloff will play this foot-fast character who will be getting an MCU gender swap and will be considered the first deaf MCU character. THENA, formerly known as Minerva and Azura, is the leader of the Eternals. The Greek national took the helm after her daddy ZURAS' descent into madness and self-slaughter. Sister Golden Hair Surprise can only lift 25 tons, so she makes up the difference with battle intelligence. The immortal with never-ending legs is a patient warrior with love on her side, an asset that inspires her over and over again. And inspired heroes are deadly heroes. Her endgame is to unite all humans and Eternals to have a fighting chance against the nasty gods of space, a monumental task. If she has to use cosmic energy to make weapons out of thin air, like swords, to do it, so be it. Angelina Jolie will be the one bringing THENA to the big screen. IKARIS defeated the world's first mutant, Apocalypse. So yeah, he ain't no joke. A brave, blonde Superman, like a Homelander with better intentions. He epically took on the Red Hulk, a guy who suplexes and rear naked chokes dinosaurs. He can also make people fly along with him with his mind, and he can send people to nappy time with gentle insomnia-inducing eye beams. Perfect for when someone starts asking you too many questions when you're trying to watch Tenet. It's like, bro, I don't understand it either, just let me watch.
We'll try and keep up.
Anyway, actor Richard Madden will don IKARIS' tights in the upcoming film. Thane is an eternal inhuman hybrid and the son of Thanos and an inhuman woman. My gods, imagine dating Thanos.
Find the stones.
What will you do?
Wait.
The boy has the power of the dead touch with his left hand, and will leave you in a state of living death with the right. Like Ezra Scissorhands, you gotta wonder, how does this fellow go to the bathroom? Like so many teenage Inhumans, Thane has very little control over his powers, unlike his papa. This makes him a very volatile little boy. Ebony Maw gave Lil Perp a suit to help him get a better harness on his abilities, for the Conqueror's son was bringing death with him wherever he went. Another thing to watch out for with young Thane, the ye old expression, the sins of the father are only exceeded by the sins of the son. Ajak is the greatest warrior in the history of the Eternals. This dude's been around, having fought in the Trojan War and beyond. He can push an estimated 25 tons on bench, and has decent psionic control over molecules of his own body and those around him. The Cosmic Manipulator can shoot not one, not two, but 3 types of beams from his hands and eyes. 1. Concussive beams. 2. Light beams. 3. Heat beams. This is one more character that gets a gender swap in the MCU. Salma Hayek will don the Ajak mantle. Lucky us. Thanos is an Eternal? Game changer. The only Eternal your grandmother knows about is one of the Eternals from Titan. Born with Deviant Syndrome, which is what Titan people call mutants, he manipulates cosmic energy with a little extra oomph than the others. Big Perp defeated the Hulk in a brawl, a victory as significant as Lennox Lewis's victory over Mike Tyson, as it cemented his spot in the MCU Hall of Fame. And the man is extra powerful thanks to Death resurrecting him. You know, his imaginary girlfriend that he did all the dirty deeds for. Will time tell if they bring Josh Brolin's Thanos back in the mix for the Eternals movie? Or if they just straight up shamelessly replace him like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did with Aunt Vivian from one season to the next?
There's something different about you.
And speaking of time, KRONOS is like the Grandmaster Flash of Marvel Comics, the master of time. He might not be in the movie, maybe because he's too OP. After winning a fraternal war against his warmongering brother KRONOS, he became the Earth's ruler. A lab accident demolished KRONOS' body and made him one with the universe. He can control deceased persons like the Night King and certain versions of the Black Panther. Much like Watchmen's Dr. Manhattan, he is obsessed with time. In the movie Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps, after spending almost a quarter century behind bars, upon his release, Mr. Wall Street himself, Gordon Gekko, reveals to his young protege that the one thing he learned in jail is that money is not the prime asset in life.
Time is, and your time is just about up.
That's why KRONOS is #1 on our list by light years. Honorable mention goes to Sprite, an 11-year-old Olympian boy who is actually 1.5 million years old. The immortal boy who's in love with SERSI is like a video game character. Whenever he's executed in battle, he's respawned in Olympia. Too bad this Peter Panish boy can never actually grow up though.